On the news, Tinubu to address Nigerians on Sunday, August 4, amid #EndBadGovernance protests. On day 3, protesters continue demonstrations in Lagos, Abuja, and several other states. And police fault damage reports by Amnesty International confirm 7 persons dead, 681 arrested. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Adigun. President Bola Tinubu has succumbed to growing calls for him to address the nation amid the widespread #EndBadGovernance protest that entered its third day on Saturday, August 3. According to a statement by his spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, Tinubu will address over 200 million citizens on Sunday, August 4, 2024 at 7 a.m. The president has been at the center of rallies against economic hardship and high living costs that have reverberated across the nation's 36 states and the capital Abuja. Since the protest began on Thursday, opposition parties have loudly called on him to address defiant youths who have taken to the streets to express their displeasure over the economic and attendant hardship in the country. As the nationwide protest entered its third day, a minor clash occurred at the Ojota area of Lagos as security forces cracked down on those intending to leave the axis, thereby defying court injunction. Undeterred by the security officers' crackdown, the protesters persisted in their demonstration, demanding an end to bad governance and for government to improve citizens' living conditions. TV 360's Chidi Igwe completes the story.
The turnout of demonstrators on the third day of the protest was lower than the previous days, prompting organizers to devise ways of increasing residents' participation. These gave rise to a confrontation after protesters defied the directives by security officials to spread beyond the court-designated Gani Fawemi Park, Ojota, and Freedom Park, Ketu. The protesters at Ojota say going beyond the axis will help increase their numbers and subsequently attract the president's attention, who they lamented has remained silent since the protest commenced.
In every struggle, there are leaders, and you must go by the rules of the game. Actually, nobody can stop us from moving. When we want to move, we'll move. But we're saying it's not time. So we have to be engaged in calming nerves down, that they should hold on. But definitely, one of these days, Nigerians in the protest will move, and no one can stop them. But we can assure Lagosians and Nigerians that there won't be destruction, there won't be negative implication, but there will be procession.
We want to march forward, at least maybe even go beyond Maryland or go to Maryland. But the information now reaching us, as we started to march, we now heard that the police are blocking our way and telling us that we're not supposed to go beyond the park, and that is wrong. The police are not the ones protesting, we are the ones protesting. And they cannot tell us that we cannot go beyond a certain place.
I know that the police they are doing their job. They don't want us to trespass the boundary because they are scared of what other guys are going to do. Because everybody here, we are not here with the same mind. Some are here for real protest, while some are here to steal, which is true. For me, going outside here, I'm not advising it. Let's do it here, and they will hear us from the TV.
The court order was targeted at ensuring that the protest does not degenerate into chaos, causing destruction in a state that was most hit by the 2020 NSAS protest. The heavy presence of security officials ensured that the rally remained hitch-free, as the protesters demand that the government take concrete steps to address the country's pressing issues.
Send up at that price, and they're not outside, and they say it's peaceful, and they say we want one Nigeria. In the north now, they are killing people in the north. In the east, lockdown. And we're here in Lagos State, complaining that Lagos, and telling ourselves that Lagos is peaceful. This is not Nigeria. We don't have love in Nigeria. There's no love. And they said protest now. They now kept us one place to stay and campaign and say it's protest. This is not a protest. This is a campaign.
There is no government that can withstand a prolonged protest. If you look at the history of Nigerian protests, there is no protest that we have had in Nigeria that has not achieved its success. Even down to the last NSAS, if not for the unfortunate killing. When they started the process, Buhari immediately scrapped SARS now. SARS is no longer in existence. Definitely, we are also going to achieve the aim of this protest.
So far, the protests across the nation are estimated to cost the country a 400 billion naira loss daily. Despite these losses, the only identified organizers of the nationwide protests, the Take It Back movement, has said that they will not back down until the president addresses citizens.
We need Mr. President to come and address us on the TV station, national TV station. And our demand, we want Mr. President to bring the topic upon our demand that we are here for. If Mr. President is not starting to hear our demand, we are not contented to live here.
What I want now, I want Bola Ahmed Tinubu to come outside, come and see what is going on. We are hungry. We are suffering. Nigeria is suffering. I want better Nigeria.
I want Bola Tinubu to revive the subsidy as 180 naira. Then the food like rice, beans, all the food items, let him go back to the normal price it was before. Like we were saying, bag of rice 40,000 naira. How many Nigerians can afford to buy a bag of rice at 40,000 naira? What are those people that are not working? It is only when they go out, their family feud. So government should consider all this.
Opposition parties in the country have also criticized President Bola Tinubu for not addressing the nation amid the End Bad Governance protests. On its part, the Nigerian government has heightened appeals to the protest organizers as well as the youths to shelve demonstrations, promising their plights will be addressed. Chidi Igwe, TV360 News, Lagos.
Security operatives on Saturday dispersed #EndBadGovernance protesters who gathered at the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja for their usual protest. The police had earlier warned the protesters to move inside the stadium designated for the protest. But when the protesters refused, the police then fired into the air and released tear gas to disperse them. Journalists who were present were also affected in the ensuing melee, while many fleeing with their vehicles, others ran into a nearby bush.
This is the venue that they've restricted us to. According to them, they've received a court injunction or court order rather that we should confine ourselves to the stadium. And we've been here at the stadium. Nobody moved an inch outside the stadium. We were just granting press release. Before we knew it, the police just came. They started shooting at us with tear gas. Despite all appeal to them, for them to reconsider us. In fact, we've been peaceful all this while. But the police have been provoking us. In fact, they said we should go inside the stadium. Most of our members are even inside the stadium. But the law did not even say we have to go inside the pitch. The law said we should restrict ourselves, within the confines of the stadium, including the environs. And that's exactly what we've done. We did not even block the road. But all of a sudden, the police just came and started shooting tear gas at us, threatening us that they were going to even use slime ammunition on us. In fact, they just molested me. They shoot tear gas at me directly. In fact, they are aiming at us. They are not even shooting it. They are not even dispatching us. They are aiming at us. So you have to be very vigilant. You have to be very careful to even dodge it. They molested me. I have to even be on my knees today. As it is, they said we should leave the stadium. That's why we are even here. We stayed in the same environment. They said we should restrict ourselves. They came down and harassed us. So tell us the kind of country we are. Are they not inciting us to be violent? Are they not indirectly telling us to be violent? Yet, because that's basically what they are doing. You can see they are even coming. As it is, they will start shooting at you.
This morning, after the Chagasin us this shooting live bullet on us yesterday, we say we'll never give up because the country is for us, it's for all of us. We are here peacefully in front of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, coordinating ourselves. Nobody is fighting, talking with the security agency, armies, navy, civil defense, they are all here. But police suddenly appeared from nowhere and started Chagasin us, asking all of us to leave. First of all, I personally went to them and I said, sir, why are you people asking us to leave? They say that we should move inside the stadium. I said, sir, we are not going to play football. On that first day that you people asked us to move inside the stadium, we saw about 4 coasters that loaded with thugs. What will happen if you are outside and you are tear-gassing us? What will happen if we move inside? Oh, sir, we are outside here peacefully. Please, let us do our protest. The next day they started tear-gassing us, molesting everybody.
Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force has issued a rebuttal to Amnesty International, which claimed that 13 individuals had died during the #EndBadGovernance protest and alleged that security forces used lethal tactics and firearms against protesters. Responding to the allegations, the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, provided a detailed account of the incidents during the protest that began on August 1, 2024. According to Adejobi, the Nigeria Police Force has arrested 681 individuals linked to various criminal activities, including armed robbery, arson, looting, and property destruction, and recovered dangerous weapons and stolen items valued at billions of naira. Given the violence that has marked the protest, he advised all peaceful protesters to withdraw immediately to avoid further escalation.
The Nigeria Police Force finds it necessary to refute a recent report publicized by Amnesty International, which claims that 13 individuals have lost their lives due to the protests in Nigeria that began on 1st August 2024. Amnesty International further alleges that security personnel deliberately employed tactics designed to kill while managing gatherings and use firearms as a tactical tool for protest management. The Nigeria Police Force wishes to provide an accurate account of incidents from the first 2 days of the nationwide protest. In Borno State, 4 individuals lost their lives and 34 were severely injured in a terrorist attack by suspected Boko Haram and ISWAP elements who infiltrated the crowd of protesters and detonated an improvised explosive device IED. Additionally, an incident occurred involving an unregistered Honda Prelude car that ran into the protesters, resulting in the death of 2 civilians in Nasarawa State. The driver abandoned the vehicle and fled the scene. Although the vehicle was vandalized after the incident, it has been recovered and is currently in police custody. Efforts are ongoing to trace the driver and bring him to justice. There was another incident reported in Yauri local government area of Kebbi State, where a group of individuals mobilized to loot a shop. In the process, a local vigilante man shot and killed one of the looters. The Commissioner of Police in charge of Kebbi State is currently investigating the incident. This brings the total number of deaths recorded during the protest to 7. It is important to state that there were no other recorded fatalities during the protest apart from those mentioned above.
As Nigerians demand an end to bad governance in the country, political affairs experts, Analyst who spoke on the station's flagship program, DG360, say the action of protesters is a revelation of the difference in citizens' interests amid the nation's ailing economy. They add that the destruction unleashed by protesters in the north shows the level of marginalization suffered by people in the region. While calling for calm, the experts urged the government to engage citizens even more and backtrack on implementing policies.
Protest is becoming very clearly demarcated between those who are, to some extent, elitist, vanguard leaders, a lot of stake, and then the lumpen proletariat who have been left to hang around without jobs, without education, without any means of good livelihood. And that has always been the Nigerian mix, and the protests are showing that clearly. It is also showing clearly the disparity in poverty between what is in the far north and what is found in some parts of Nigeria. Sokoto, for example, has a poverty rate of more than 90.2%. Zamfara is in 80-something. Katsina is in 80-something. You go to Jigawa, Borno, and those places are at have a poverty percentage rate of about 80+% of their people are in abject poverty. So the culture of looting has found itself very much in Kano. And another aspect is with Kano, there is an insinuation that political involvement of political parties, because the opposition in Kano arranged young people to celebrate an appointment into a federal government by one of the key persons, according to insinuations I had. And so it is possible that that must have been used to encourage young people to come and make the protest as bad as possible for the state because of their relationship with the federal government. That is a possibility.
I tell people you can only speak for yourself, because the way you are protesting about the activities or lack of governance, there are people also who are protesting against you as one of the oppressors because you look comfortable. And there are people who also do not understand the reasons you want to protest, but also are feeling, those are the people that feel the hunger the most. How do you organize those people? How do you coordinate them? Especially in areas where there is so much hunger, where there is so much poverty, and there is lack of education. So a protest can be peaceful, relatively peaceful, in areas where you have a high level of education. But in areas where the education is very, very minimal, you really cannot be speaking about being peaceful. And in some cases, what they understand by protest might not even be about food. Protest to them might just be about going to destroy. Yeah, these are the people that have been oppressing us. And that's why you find out that during protest, you would think everybody would be peaceful.
We'll take a break now. When the news returns, Dangote reports show refinery to gulp 1.7 trillion naira crude oil monthly. Stay with us for details of this and other stories. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has succumbed to growing calls for him to address the nation amid the widespread #EndBadGovernance protest that entered its third day on Saturday, August 3. According to a statement by his spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale, Tinubu will address over 200 million citizens on Sunday, August 4, 2024 at 7 a.m. The president has been in the center of rallies against economic hardship and high living costs that have reverberated across the nation's 36 states and the capital, Abuja. We also told you that the Nigeria Police Force has issued a rebuttal to Amnesty International, which claimed that 13 individuals had died during the #EndBadGovernance protest and alleged that security forces used lethal tactics and firearms against protesters. Responding to the allegations, the first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, provided a detailed account of the incidents during the protest that began on Thursday, August 1, 2024. According to Adejobi, the Nigeria Police Force has arrested 681 individuals linked to various criminal activities, including armed robbery, arson, looting, and property destruction, and recovered dangerous weapons and stolen items valued at billions of naira. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and ABO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online. Business. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery says it is going to need about 1.7 trillion naira worth of crude oil monthly following the directive of President Bola Tinubu mandating the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited to sell crude oil to the plant and other local refineries in naira. On Monday, July 29, the president directed the NNPCL to sell crude to the Dangote Refinery and other local refineries in naira. The special advisor to the president on information and publicity, Bayo Onanuga, said the move will ensure the stability of the pump price of refined fuel and the dollar-naira exchange rate. An analysis of figures from various industry reports show that the $20 billion Dangote refinery located in Lekki, Lagos would go up about 1.7 trillion naira of crude oil monthly should the NNPCL meet the mandate of the president. And following the growing food shortage across the country and Africa, experts have urged the government to empower extension agents to effectively implement food security strategies using the SARA H&O model for crop yield to identify food deficits and ensure better solutions. At the closing of a workshop on food security strategies in Nigeria and Africa, the representative of Agreement Regional Center, Traore Marshall, encouraged analysts and specialists to practice the SARA H&O model for effective food security strategies. The experts also called on government to support agricultural development projects with funds to reach farmers, train them in new innovations and put them into practice for better agriculture and good yield. They further stressed the need for collaboration and practice to ensure effective food security strategies in Nigeria and Africa.
For the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, just like all other ministries in the participating countries, we are responsible for providing food and nutrition, food security data, especially in collaboration with other agencies. So with this training, we've been able to use the SARA H and SARA O models to do crop yield estimates, crop production estimates, and crop area cultivated measurements. So basically, at the end of the day, once we are back home, we are confident and believe that with the model, we will be able to do production estimates and also provide yield estimates during the planting season, forecasting estimates, and also providing the data at the end of the day.
This will go a very long way, especially here in our country where we have issues of insecurity. We have like fall armyworm, and like the insecurity, a lot of farmers are being limited in access by accessing their farm. And we could see that this will help us to be able to forecast where there's going to be food deficits. So from there, when we discover that, okay, there is food deficit in a particular area, it will go a very long way to assist the decision makers, like the policy makers, to make a better decision in terms of ensuring that areas are accessible, or even in the areas of fertilizer, because like most farmers, they cannot access fertilizer looking at the cost in the market. So the policy makers can be able to come up and see how they can be able to subsidize fertilizers for our farmers.
In Somalia, at least 32 people have been killed and many more wounded in a suicide bombing and gun attack on a popular beach in the nation's capital, Mogadishu. According to officials, Al-Qaeda-linked armed group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack on Lido Beach on Friday via an affiliated radio station. Witnesses and police say the assault began when a suicide bomber blew himself up at the entrance of Beach View Hotel. Several other attackers tried to storm the hotel and also fired on people on the beach, where many residents were walking or sitting. A police spokesman, Abdi Fattah Adan Hassan, said security forces had killed all the attackers at the scene and captured another one who was driving a car filled with explosives. Venezuelan authorities have ratified Nicolas Maduro's election victory as a growing number of nations recognized his opposition rival as the true winner. Gripped by anxiety after Sunday's disputed presidential vote, the oil-rich nation braced for fresh protests as both Maduro and the opposition called for the supporters to stage the demonstrations. Venezuela's election authority have ratified Maduro's win with 52% of the vote and say González Urrutia had garnered 43% of ballots. However, Argentina, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Panama and Uruguay have recognized the opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia as the president-elect of Venezuela, joining the United States and Peru in rejecting the official results. 61-year-old Maduro has reacted fiercely to criticism of his victory and threatened opposition leader Maria Corina Machado and her presidential candidate González Urrutia, saying they should be behind bars. And on sports, Nigerian athletes Koinsola Ajayi and Favour Ashe Berth have secured their spots in the men's 100 meters semi-finals at the 2024 Olympic Games on Saturday. Ajayi delivered an impressive performance in Heat 5, winning with a time of 10.02 seconds and narrowly edging out Olympic champion Lamont Marcel Jacobs, who finished second at 10.05 seconds. Ghana's Abdul Rashid Saminu claimed third place with a time of 10.06 seconds. In Heat 4, Ashe finished fourth behind Jamaica's Oblique Seville, Japan's Abdul Hakim Sani Brown and Thailand's Thorpool Bonboon. However, Ashe advanced to the semi-finals by securing the last non-automatic qualification spot. Still on sports, an explosion in the paddock area of Germany's renowned Nürburgring racetrack has injured 22 persons on Saturday. In a statement, officials at the track in the West German town of Nürburgring disclosed the accident took place behind a pit in the track's paddock area during a test and setup run ahead of the NLS 4 race. Police say they believe the accident was caused by the explosion of a compressed air canister on Friday night. Meanwhile, officers are still on the scene to investigate. Several people have been taken to nearby hospitals by helicopter. Organizers say the NLS 2-4 race will go ahead after consultations with all parties involved. That's all on news now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.